History is a clock that people use to tell their political and cultural time of day. It is also a compass that people use to find themselves on the map of human geography. History tells of people where they have been and what they have been, where they are and what they are. Most important, history tells a people where they still must go and what they still must be. The relationship of history to the people is the same as the relationship of a mother to her child.
Hey, Will, I'm gonna separate this to a point. I think we do need to get out. I think we do need to self-actualize as Black Americans. I think we do need to concentrate on ourselves to self-actualize.
How do you describe a legend? An African-American hero, an historian, an activist who for half a century has charted a singular course dedicated to the intellectual and spiritual liberation of a people. Though his eyes are now darkened by glaucoma, he continues to enlighten the lives of thousands of men and women through the pages of his many books and in university classrooms across the country. How do you describe a legend? You can't, really. But you can meet the men and women who influenced him. You can learn from him the hidden history of the African people. Learn from him a different way of making sense of this complex and often very confusing world. And you can let Dr. John Henry Clarke tell his own extraordinary story in his own soulful style.
Born on Sharecropper Farm in Union Springs, Alabama, New Year's Day, 1915. That was a great feast day in our family. And because my mother was the favorite in the family and I was late arriving, she said that nothing would be killed in this family until my child is born. And I didn't arrive until 3, and everybody was hungry. The feast had not started, and I wasn't exactly welcome. They never quite forgave me for that, holding up the feast. My early schooling was in one-room schoolhouse. It was called Miller's Hill School. When we moved slightly out of the city, I was chosen to go to city school. Officially, I never finished high school in the formal sense until later years. In fact, I taught 2 generations before I took time out to get my BA, my master's, and my PhD. And I have it all now, but I'm principally self-trained.
And see, that's one of the most fascinating things that I did learn about Dr. Clarke is how much time he put into learning on his own and self-study. So for 20 years as a professional, as an academic professional, he was able to operate as an academic professional without the credentials of the degrees. You know, not going too far in high school, but having the knowledge because he read, he studied. And that's one of the reasons why I'm always preaching that we need to read. We have to read, continue to read. You got to read. That's why I do my book readings on Mondays. And I always quote one of the things that he says is like, read everything you can get your hands on. Don't care who it's from. Read everything. You don't have to believe everything you read, but read everything and see what you learn from what you read. Even if it's the enemy, read they stuff too. Read everybody's stuff. Read as much as you can. Don't just box yourself in. Don't let somebody tell you, well, don't read that. That's bad. No, go read it. Figure it out. Figure it out for yourself. But open your mind to learning as much as you can. That is one of the greatest things that I learned from Dr. Clarke is just read and study and immerse yourself in as much information as possible. But also, I learned from him how to first study myself, study ourselves, study yourself, to study ourselves. And in the studying of ourselves, we learn to love ourselves. And then in learning to love ourselves and having that foundation, when we study others, when we study other people and other cultures, we don't have that inferiority complex and then get to thinking that somebody else's culture, somebody else's history, or somebody else's experience is better than ours, because it's not. Everybody's is different. Different doesn't mean better. But that's where self-esteem comes, and that's where studying yourself comes, and learning your past and your history. That's why, they teach us that African history, the history of Black people on earth, didn't start with slavery. History of Black people in America started with slavery. But the history of African people did not start with slavery. But we were taught that we had no history. We taught that we were nothing. We were taught that slavery was our genesis. And that's why our historians hit back the way they hit back and gave us the information that they gave. So I just want to say that. So Dr. Clarke is the best.
My university was the public library and well-chosen secondhand bookstores.
See?
I haven't been to the grocery store in over a year, but I'm eating healthier than ever. Here's how I did it. Meal planning is such.
So while I grew up poor,
how you doing, Elizabeth?
I grew up in a very rich environment, culturally rich. I grew up with a whole lot of love and affection, a lot of lap time, a lot of slap time too, because I wasn't permitted to get away with too much. Miss Evelina Taylor is my 5th grade teacher, and she might be the foundation teacher in my life. In addition to teaching me basic good thinking and good conduct.
Real quick, big shout out to DSB for the gifted memberships. Auntie Eva, welcome to the family. Welcome to the family, Auntie Eva. You're gonna love it over here. Elizabeth, I'm gonna get back with you. Well, I was looking for Elizabeth, I was just looking for the email earlier and I couldn't find it. I hope I didn't delete it accidentally, but okay. I need to give you, I'll try another email address with you, Elizabeth, because I was actually looking for that. I was looking out for it. But to answer your question, how do we know we love ourselves? I would say one of the good ways that we could learn that we know we love ourselves is how do we see ourselves in relation to others, especially white people? Do we think we are inferior to others? And how do we see ourselves and how do we treat ourselves? How do we talk about ourselves? How do we think about ourselves? Like if we see our blackness as something bad, if we see our blackness as less than, if we see our blackness as something that is not worth that doesn't have real worth, and then that's how we know we don't love ourselves. But if we can see ourselves and understand our worth, and not see ourselves as less than when it comes in relation to other people, if we can see ourselves and not see something that we could easily destroy, those are clear signs that we have esteem for ourselves. And also, how do you let others? Yep. How you let others treat you? There you go, Barb. There you go. White and any. Yep. No other group of people or no other culture is better than ours. It's theirs. It's different. Different does not mean better. And that's something that I had to learn, because as a black man, I didn't grow up with people really teaching what self-esteem was. It was just, you got to be tough. But as I learned self-esteem, and one of the things that helped me learn is self-esteem is, getting around black people who had self-esteem. So yeah, that's how we do it. That's how we do it. Let me stop talking and let Dr. Clarke continue.
She called me into her room during her lunch hour one day and told me to stop playing the fool, because I was playing the fool just to get accepted. And she said, it is better to be right and march into hell than to follow a bunch of fools into heaven.
There you go.
I wanted to do something to impress Miss Taylor, and we had current events on Friday. We wanted to say something unusual, because I worked for white people before and after school, and they had magazines. They would receive them one day, read them hurriedly up, throw them away the next day. So when I got up for current events, I always had something.
Oh yeah, I do.
Different to say about my own people and about other people. No, I wanted to do something real.
How you doing,
big.
Queen? How you doing?
So
Ty?
I went to a lawyer that I worked for before and after school. I can still remember his name, Gag Steiner, and I asked him for a book about my people in early world history. He says, I'm sorry, John, that you came from a people who have no history. My mind would not accept that. I continued to search, and I opened a book called The New Negro, and I opened to an essay called The Negro Digs Up His Past. And for the first time, I knew
to Roshamberg
that I came from a very old people, that we were older than slavery, older than oppression, older than Europe. Now the scramble began for more information.
Hi, we're Charity Water. If we lost you,
but see what he's talking about helped to stoke his fire for wanting to learn more information. A white teacher telling him that his people had no history, that it came from nothing. Okay, Elizabeth, I checked that out. Or you can, send a Facebook. Elizabeth, do a Facebook message to my Joseph Ward Facebook. I will see that. My Joseph Ward Facebook, I will see that. Yes. But yeah, him being told that his people have no history stoked the fire to want to learn more. Nowadays, that'll be it for a lot of our people. Tell us we have no history. A lot of people just go with it. But also remember, like, we're walking around with all these powerful computers in our pockets and still don't know what we need to know. All we got to do is research and use those tools in our pocket.
During the disaster years of the Great Depression, Americans in huge numbers take to the rails. They don't take Pullman cars or day coaches.
What's going on, FM?
They stow away on the freights, riding the rails in search of the opportunity to create a better life.
That great
John Henry Clarke wrote it. Out of the South first, briefly to Chicago, and then on to New York City.
New York
I had a
City.
dream. I thought that because I'd had some success in writing local plays, writing lyrics for songs for local plays, and that I could go write professional. It was a dream. It was a fantasy. I was pursuing this fantasy. At 18, you can pursue all kinds of fantasies.
In the shadow of Manhattan's towering skyscrapers lies black, sprawling Harlem, greatest Negro metropolis in the world.
My impressions of the Harlem community, in the first place, it was a clean community. It was an orderly community. It was a safe community. It was a community with its customs that we have forgotten now. Street speaking customs, strolling customs, social
How you doing,
customs.
Black Rose? I
There
hear
was a
you.
time when 7th Avenue, now Adam Powell Boulevard, was the street of choice. And you did not walk down 7th Avenue on Saturday or Sunday without a coat and a tie. There was a custom of getting your lady in your long good suit and walking down 7th Avenue to show her off. You would walk 15 blocks. Sometime when you had $1 or so to spend, you would take on the 5th Avenue open bus all the way down to New York University and all the way back. And she was satisfied, and the whole evening,
I was just about to say that, Barb. You
a lot
know
of times didn't have
what's
one.
going on, Victor?
They sure don't make ladies like that anymore.
Hey, man, look. Barb, you took it right out of my mouth. Look. That's another reason why I'm so into making sure we study our history so we can understand where we come from and who we were and how we presented ourselves. Like when you go back in history and you look at all the old photos of Black people and how we dressed and how we put our best on and how we came out the house, like this new way of how we presenting ourselves and our bed clothes, that lets you know the level of esteem that we have now versus the level of esteem that we had then. Right? But that is also a direct result of a lack of exposure of your history. Because if you don't know that you come from a people who were always fly, if you don't know that you come from a people who had pride in how they stepped out the house and how they interacted with each other. Because we talk about principles, morals, values, discipline, structure. Black people moved a different way. Were we programmed by white folk? Yeah. But our sense of esteem, our sense of community, our sense of self, our sense of worth was higher then. And especially those who were learning about the Blackness, learning about the history, or in areas where you see Black people achieving all around you. Like for real though, that's why the history is so important. Like I went to FAMU. I always thought that it should be mandatory. Like you can't graduate from FAMU if you haven't gone to the Black archives at least once a year. Once a year. You got 4 years. You got 4 years to be at FAMU. If you don't go to the Black archives once a year and write a paper on it, you shouldn't be able to graduate. Because I hear so many people with the idea that just because you go to a HBCU that you come out and you learn Black history. No. You're around Black people, but you're not learning our history. It should be mandatory for you to be immersed in it. That's how the legacy, that's how the culture, that's how the flyness, the true flyness. Fly, we think fly now is men walking around, old 40, 50-year-old men walking around dressed like 20-year-olds with their booty hanging out. Or the women walk around in their bed clothes or their breasts and their booty hanging out. We think that's fly now. That ain't fly. It's not fly to dress like bums, pimps, prostitutes, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Superstar J Quick in the building. What's going on, my brother? Yeah, man, Rattlers for life. Look, I loved my time at FAMU, man. My time at FAMU was amazing, especially being part of that Black Psychology program. Oh man, I'm telling you. But they were intentional about us learning our history. That's why I came out different from a lot of folk, because they were intentional about us learning our history. Hey man, Black Rose, look, we have put people on to some amazing stuff. Look, talking about like when I learned about Fela Kuti and the influence that Black American music had on Fela Kuti, and he was able to take that back and create Afro beats. You know what I'm saying? Like the way we influence so many people around the world. Like Black people, we're upstanding people. We're not weak, soft people. We're not these docile people that we were programmed to be, or they conditioning us to be. We're not these low-level people who don't have no dignity, that we are acting like we are now. Nah, man, we better than that.